What is up, guys? It's Cam hitting you back here with another review today. Today we'll be taking a look at the Medicom Mafex Classic Costume Spider-Man. I just got this guy in today and I am absolutely thrilled with this figure, so I thought I'd take a closer look at it with you guys today. So here, of course, we have just a close-up look. This nice little pose I have him in. And we'll get a bit more into the articulation here soon, but let me just tell you guys, this will get into any Spidey pose you can possibly think of. Now, one little quick thing, we'll go ahead and just get out of the way, because I know a lot of you probably been seeing it in the fig community, and you'll probably notice the eyesore right off the bat. Take a look here. You do see a lot of paint chipping on this particular shoulder. Now, that is not Mafex. This came absolutely clean, but the thing that we do have to talk about with this particular figure are the shoulders. If you aren't aware, these shoulders did come backwards, where this particular pattern, where it kind of curves upward, was facing forward when the figure came straight out of the box. So that technically is wrong. It does need to be flipped around. The easiest way to do it, of course, is pop these arms out at the shoulder, pop the biceps off, swap them, plug them right back in. Now, this paint chipping that you're seeing here, pretty severe. Nothing a quick paint match and touch up can't fix, so I'm not too worried about it. But the reason for that is because while these shoulders pop back into the butterfly socket pretty easily, these biceps are an absolute pain in the ass to get back onto these shoulders. I've had to heat to get these back on. This one popped back on early, no problem, after just hitting it with the hair dryer for a few minutes or a few seconds. But this one here, what I really needed to do, and shout out to Kit Bash Customs for the tip on this, I saw on his short that he posted on YouTube, is you want to put this shoulder back into the socket and then maybe push from the elbow and forearm back in from there after heating it. If you try to push from the forearm, this forearm piece actually slides up off of the joint, and it makes it an absolute pain to get back onto the joint itself. So just keep that in mind. Don't sit here and twist on it like I did with this arm. That's what causes severe chipping. Again, if I go to a paint store and match up the paint, I could touch that up, no problem. And it doesn't take away from the fun factor of this figure at all, which you'll see here in just a moment. Really quickly, before we go any further into old Spidey here, let's go ahead and take a look at the box. We'll move Spidey off to the side for just a moment. If you'll stand for me, we'll just lay him down. So Mafex, usually they have a bigger box than this, but as you can tell, a lot shorter, a lot slimmer than what you're usually accustomed to with Medicom. I do, however, love these boxes. It's always nice when you get a new Mafex figure and it really feels like you're getting, a quality product. Now, of course, there's always the fear factor with a Medicom Mafex product. You never know if it's gonna break or if the QC is not gonna be there. I've never had a problem with Mafex QC. The only issue I've ever had with a Medicom figure is the Cyclops one I had. The little effect that he had on his visor did snap, which is something you saw a lot with any Cyclops Mafex figure going around. But other than that, it's been pretty smooth sailing here for me. We'll take a look at the box here. I love this little interior design, like he's swinging through the city. I think that looks really cool. Of course, nice little comic shot up here, Double Trouble. This is number 185 in the Mafex line. See here, Spider-Man classic costume. Flip it around, Spider-Man on one side, another nice pose of Spider-Man here on the side. The back, a couple of different poses you can get them in, some of the accessories. I would have liked to seen a Peter Parker head come with this one. I think I saw some photos of someone trying to swap the old Mafex Spider-Man Peter Parker head onto this particular version. It doesn't exactly work, but you can kind of fudge it if you want to with some sticky tack. But just keep that in mind. I do not have the black costume version of this yet. I will have that hopefully soon, once the funds are there to go ahead and acquire it, because that's, of course, the OG suit that I love. But enough about the box for the moment. Let's slide that off to the side. Let's go ahead and take a look here at Peter Parker himself. So let's go ahead and just take a close-up look here at some of the details. Of course, this is somewhat one of the Mark Bagley style heads, I believe, with these eyes and kind of how they're a bit bigger, a bit wider. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not perfect when it comes to artists. You have all this nice line work, these painted lines throughout the suit. Now, it's not exactly perfect. We take a look here at this shoulder. Some of it is missing. And mine was pretty solid for the most part. Like I said, I've seen a lot worse from different photos, people getting different versions in hand. But mine, for the most part, other than this up here, which I caused myself, was absolutely pristine. I love this kind of raised or sculpted spider on the back. You do have the same thing here on the front. I did choose this to be my go-to Spider-Man over the Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows or the Spidey and Friends 3-pack or even the Amazing Fantasy one. Just because when I think of Spider-Man, these are the classic colors I think of, this nice bright blue and red. I think it looks absolutely stunning. It can go perfectly with any of your Marvel Legends that you may have or any other Mafex figures. One figure I can't wait to get some shots with is the Diamond Select Hulk. I can't remember the name, the Rampaging Hulk I think it was called, or the Immortal Hulk, excuse me. I think he'll look absolutely fantastic with that. Let's quickly go ahead and take a look at the accessories here. Let's go ahead and put Peter Parker back there. So of course you do get the sort of normal head, then you get this head here where it's kind of a little bit more grimaced, a little bit more angry. Let's go ahead and pop that one onto the figure. It's another nice little look. Poor Spidey. Let's drop that one right there in front of you guys. As again, that's one of the fear factors of the Mafex. You have to be really, really careful with these pegs, really careful with these figures. They are very expensive, but they are really, really nice once you get them in hand. I'm trying to be very careful with this particular peg. I don't think I'm gonna get that to be able to pop on there without a little bit of heat. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want to force that right now, guys. Like I said, with these Mafex figures, I'm not trying to do too much, but as you can tell, more grimaced head, and then you of course get a wide assortment of hands. We'll just quickly run through these here. You kind of get these wide open, splayed out hands. You do get the two fists that come on them in the package. You get these magnetic hands, which are absolutely amazing. This is one of the best things that come with these Mafex Spider-Man figures. One of the selling points for me. On top of the magnetic hands, you do get the magnetic feet. These magnets do work pretty well. I'll try to fit in a couple of photos of him on a couple of the metallic objects around my home. On top of those, you get, of course, your whipping hands that every Spidey figure needs. You get a couple of web gripping hands, which will show you the webs that go with these here in just a moment. And you get kind of some of your relaxed hands if you want them waving or just chilling. You do get these as well. One of the great things about these Mafex figures, if you haven't owned one, is that you get these little bars that connect into the hands to keep them all together, which of course you can put these back in the package if you want to after you're done with them. I absolutely love that. These of course have the paint in between all the lines as well. Look absolutely great. And then after taking a look at all the hands and accessories here, or hands and feet here, we do get this one web where it's kind of got like this net effect at the end. The purpose of this, if you see here, there's a little port at the end that you can actually clip on to one of the bars or stands that you get with the figure. I'm trying to go ahead and pop this on here for you guys. So again, I don't want to try to risk this too much right now, but basically the purpose of this is you would stick it onto this little port right here, and then as you use the stand and have Spidey right here, he would kind of look like he's swinging. I'll try to get a couple shots of this in effect as I go along or in editing, but you would clip it onto this bar and he would be swinging from the web like that. Of course, you do get your usual Mafex stand. I'm not a big fan of these stands. These clamps are just a bit too big for my particular liking. They don't really seem to hold the figure up that well, so I use my own. But you do get the stand just in case you need one of those. You get a couple of these tinier kind of web shot hands is what I think of these, like he's just quickly shooting a shot at some bad guy. You do get some of these longer web effects which fit into these hands that I showed you earlier. Go ahead and just slide one of these in there. Actually, excuse me, this is not the particular web for those. These are the ones that fit around the wrist like he's just swinging throughout the city. And then this is the one where he's kind of gripping onto it or pulling something down or whatever you can kind of imagine. Let's go ahead and just quickly show that off. You slide it into the hand right there, and it just looks like he's flipping throughout the city. Let's go ahead and pop one of these heads back onto Spidey. We'll just use the traditional one that we were using. Again, this has got to be my go-to Spidey from here on out. I mean, this is just absolutely phenomenal. We'll go ahead and quickly go into the articulation. Start here with the head. The head goes this far up, this far down. You do get a lot of movement here. You can get tons of attitude, tons of nuance with your posing when it comes to the head. Of course, can do a full 360 if you like. The neck does move independently of the head as well. The arms do go up this far, both sides, so you can get a lot of range there. You do have this butterfly joint, which can go about this far back and about this far forward. And if you combine it here with the shoulder joint as well, you do get the full crossing like you saw earlier in the video. Of course, you do get your standard bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which will work absolutely phenomenally Wrists are on a ball joint, so you can get them moving in any particular motion you want to, up, down, left, right, it doesn't really matter. Wish to God that Hasbro would implement these ball joints on their wrists and the feet. It would allow for so much more posing ability on their figures, and you wouldn't have to worry about getting the wrong type of wrist hinge whenever you have a character wielding a gun or a blade or whatever the case may be. But I digress. So of course for the torso, you get this upper ball joint along with this lower ball joint down here. The upper one can go back, if we don't combine it here with this lower one, go back about that far. It's a decent range there. About that far forward, so not as much, but decent. If you get the lower ball joint as well, it goes back about that far forward. So if you combine both of these, you can get Spidey doing a full-on limbo motion, or you can get him bending as far forward as you want. Of course, arms are for the same when it comes to articulation. You do get the drop-down hinges on the legs, so you can get it to move up. If you have it just the standard way, then you can get it up to go about that far, and then in the drop-down, about that far in the regular motion, and then the drop-down, you get about a little bit more than that. You do get, of course, a thigh swivel as well, nicely hidden. You do get the double jointed knees, which can work really well. Shout out to Robo, he does not kick his own ass. You do get the hinge or the ball joints on the feet as well, the ankles, so you can get them moving any way you want, and you do get a toe hinge as well for those deep crouching poses. So absolutely phenomenal articulation on Spidey here. You can get him in any classic Spidey pose that you want. If you want him crouching or swinging through the city or taking on one of his rogues, it works absolutely great. Let's go ahead and do a quick 360 just so you can get a quick shot of him once again. So this will run you anywhere from 80 to 110 depending on where you get it from. I got mine from Hobby Search. That's where I always order my Medicom Mafex figures from. It does take a little while to get here, even through DHL. I ordered this guy on the 12th of this month, and today is now the 30th, and I'm just now getting him in hand. I'm not sure if maybe they're trying to ship them all out at one particular time where it is near the end of the year. I would probably wait until the passing of the new year, guys, before you go and order them, so you do not have to wait as long. But this is an absolutely stunning, phenomenal figure. Any Spidey fan must own this. I think this is going to be my favorite Spider-Man figure of all time. I mean, you got the colors, all the accessories, the posability, just the aesthetic of the figure overall. I think this is perfect for any Spider-Man display. And this has been Cam. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will be back with another review hopefully soon with the Medicom Mafex Black Suit Spider-Man. Peace.